Here are the top 14 lessons I've learned in 2024. When I say lessons, these are lessons I've learned from other people and implemented in my life in some way, whether it's just keeping this principle in my head at all times, or if it's the way that it made me change the way that I view money or myself or materialism or consumerism or anything else. These are the top 14 things that have stuck with me through and through this year. And I will try to give credit where credit is due, but I can't remember where all of these quotes came from. Number one, comparing yourself to others is the quickest way to financial ruin. And this quote, when I heard this, I know it was on a podcast. I can't tell you which one. When I heard this, I was like, holy hell, that explains me through and through. Low self-esteem and comparing yourself to others are interconnected, I believe. Because I have low self-esteem, I was constantly comparing myself to others, and often that comparison led to me feeling less than. And in order to make myself feel better or give myself a little boost of confidence, always led to some sort of spending. And on this channel, I talk a lot about shopping, but my spending went way above shopping. And my spending, the root cause of my spending was comparison to others and low self-esteem. And that spending came out in different forms. It looked like $1,000 every few months on hair extensions, or getting lash lifts, or spray tans, Botox, filler, shoes, anything that I could spend money on to improve my outward appearance, I did. And it didn't matter what it cost me. I didn't even think about it because nothing was more important to me than soothing myself when I felt low or down. And often I compared myself to fictitious people or people that didn't exist yet. For example, throughout all of my teens, all of my 20s, up until not too long ago, I've now got this under control. I'm not perfect, but I'm definitely doing a lot better. Whenever I had a social situation, whenever I was going out with my partner or my friends or my sisters or anything, I always had to buy new shoes, a new outfit. I had to get a spray tan. I had to get my lashes done. I had to get my hair done, all because I had a poor self-image. And before even going out, I anticipated myself seeing people, women mainly, who were prettier than me and thinner than me and taller than me and had better clothes than I did. To quell that feeling of insecurity, I relied on consumer goods and materialistic things to give myself a little boost of confidence. And as a result, throughout all of my teens and all of my 20s and even into my 30s, I depleted tens and thousands of dollars of what would be potential savings on materialism, on consumer goods that mean zero to me now. They have zero value. So to bring this all back, number one, comparing yourself to others is the quickest way to financial ruin. And I wasn't even on a journey there. I had gotten there. I achieved financial ruin as a result of comparison to others and low self-esteem. So a word of caution, if you are doing that, if you are spending, and if you are spending money, and it doesn't have to just be on clothes, it can be on literally anything. If you are spending money to impress others, because you are comparing yourself to others, because you feel less than, I'm not saying don't buy the thing, but just make sure you are acutely aware of it, that you recognize what you're doing and why you're doing it before you spend. Pigging back off of that, number two, the worst thing you can do with your money that brings zero long-term happiness is spend it when you don't have it. And the key here is long-term happiness. And it's exactly what I said for number one, that nothing I purchased, literally nothing, has brought me long-term happiness. In fact, most of it has just caused stress and anxiety because I spent money when I didn't have it. It caused debt on credit cards. It caused a lack of savings. It caused clutter in my space. You can guarantee a lack of fulfillment and a lack of happiness in the long run for yourself 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. You can guarantee lack of happiness if you spend when you don't have it. Number 3, Jimmy Carr said this, and he's totally right. There is nothing you can buy in a shopping mall that you will give an F about 10 years from now. And it's exactly what I just said. Like, literally nothing. I can't think of one thing. The only thing that has special meaning to me is my jewelry. That aside, I can't think of one thing that I purchased in the last 10 years, 15 years that has like true special meaning to me that I actually care about, that I would feel bad about, or I would be hesitant to give away, donate, or sell right now. So think about that. It's not like don't buy the thing, but even when you go through the exercise of saying, will this add value to my life? Because that's one of the things you should probably ask yourself before you purchase. Like, how much value will this add? Think about yourself 5 years from now and 10 years from now. Will you still be loving that thing? Will it still bring value? Chances are no. So there's nothing, thank you, Jimmy Carr, that you can buy in a shopping mall that you will give an F about 10 years from now. This is true. This is number 4, the progress principle. The progress principle says when you start making progress in one part of your life, you start to make progress in other parts of your life. And this is true. When I started this journey of budgeting, my only goal was to have more money at the end of the month and to stop my excessive shopping, to just like pay attention to it, not really stop it, but lessen it. But as a result of starting to budget and starting to save and pay down my debt, I've become a lot more confident, a lot less stressful. I've started to make more money. I have clear future plans and goals that are completely achievable at this point. Everything in my life, I don't want to jinx it. Like, I feel it's, like, I feel like the universe, I don't want the universe to curse me, but like right now, I'll just say it anyway, but right now, everything in my life, since I've started to pay attention to budgeting, has progressively gotten better. Minus my living situation, but that's kind of out of my hands. It's because my boyfriend's parents are a little ill and need help. But even that, like, I'm just happier. All around, I am more confident, less stressed, and I just feel better day after day, knowing I'm moving forward towards something. Number 5, this is from Dan Martell. He said the 2 things that will help you in life is delayed gratification and compound interest. Because of my lack of delayed gratification, I withdrew all of my compound interest. And if you don't know my story, it's kind of a long one, but I withdrew all of my 401k savings, basically for stupid reasons, because of excessive shopping and not budgeting and not taking control of my finances. And up until very recently, like 4 to 6 months recently, I've had an issue with delayed gratification, not just in spending, but in all aspects of my life. Like, when I have an idea in my head or a thought, I have to get it out right away. Like, I can't, or if I'm seeking an answer, I need an answer like yesterday. It's a problem that I have, and I've really started to notice it, and I'm starting to take a step back, literally do some deep breathing, and just sit in it for a little while and let it breathe, and then give it, a week, 2 weeks, even a month. So lack of delayed gratification has been a huge issue for me, and because of that, I suffered in my growth, my investment growth, and compound interest. So he's definitely right. The 2 things that will help you in life, delayed gratification and compound interest. If you can win at both of those, you will win at life. Number 6 is from Oliver Burkman, and he says, insecure overachievers are people who are driven by a deep sense of insecurity. And this is, when I heard this, and this was not too long ago, I was like, wow, that is true. I don't want to say that I'm an overachiever, because I don't think I am, and like that would mean that you are achieving great things in life to me. But throughout my entire life, I've always wanted to, pursue later degrees and take classes and always have like 10 things going on at once because I feel like I need to feel productive at all times. And if I don't, I have this deep sense of guilt that I am not, I don't even like the term worthy enough, because it's like, what does that even mean? I feel inferior to other people, basically everyone, if I'm not doing the best that I can or trying to excel in all times. Like, I don't deserve to be in the company of other people, or I don't deserve to be a partner to my boyfriend because I don't have this drive. And I think that this, if I'm going to be totally honest with you, I've never felt truly successful in life. And I think that my drive to try different things and do different things and like always take classes and always reading about something stems from the fact that I might not be successful, but I'm trying. I'm working towards it. And for me, that is a deep sense of insecurity. And when I heard insecure overachiever, I was like, that is me. And if you're not seeing the theme, the underlying theme, all of this is, it's me seeking the approval of others. Like, that's really what all of this comes down to. And then I think, holy hell, most of my actions in life, some of them have served me, a lot of them have not, have all come from seeking the approval of others. I'm essentially giving the power to other people. Most of them I do not know and I do not care about. And that, if you want to talk about a mind F, that will do it for you. Number 7, trade short-term status for long-term success. Avoiding thinking about my future self and fully prioritizing outward appearance and not taking control of my emotions and not delaying gratification, all of that has halted my long-term success. And it's never too late to start. I'm starting now and I have a lot of catch up to do, but I think I can do it in at an accelerated pace because I'm still learning, but I've learned a lot and my priorities are straightened, not perfect, but they are. So keep that in mind. Do not trade short-term status for long-term success. 8th, thoughts aren't true. This is, okay. I don't even know how to fully articulate this yet, but if you listen to any spiritual YouTubers, they'll say, you are you and your thoughts are something different. Like, your thoughts are not you. And it feels a little woo-woo to me. Like, I have a hard time wrapping my head around it because it's not concrete, it's not scientific, but I do know that if you can change your thought patterns, I believe you can change your life. And I've really started to pay a lot more attention to the thoughts that I have. And I've noticed that I'm a lot more negative than I thought I was. I'm going to be doing, I'll just mention this here. I won't go into too in depth because I'm going to make a video about it. But I'm going to do a 30 or 60 day challenge, which I will document on video, about changing my mindset. And I'm going to document every single time I have a negative thought, a self-defeating thought, whether it's on my appearance, myself, someone else, my inability to achieve something, or lacking a certain skill. I'm going to document it and I'm going to try to quickly catch it and reframe it and change it into something positive. Because I think it's just like anything else. It's just like spending money or overeating. We often underestimate the amount of damage we're doing. And I don't think I'm fully aware of half of what my mind is actually telling me. That probably is not true, because thoughts are not true. And I'll give you a quick example. My boyfriend and I were out to dinner Last night, we went out to dinner and we were both sitting at the bar. We get in, we sit down. We were sitting at the bar for like 2 minutes. And behind the bar, there's like, you can see into the kitchen. There's a little window. And I think he's a bartender. He's behind there, cute kid. And he's walking towards me. And he looks at me and just gives me like a little smile and then turns and goes out of sight. And in my head, this is exactly what went through my head. Oh, he probably thinks I'm really ugly. That's it. Like, oh, he must think I'm like really ugly. I caught myself. Right after that, I said to myself, I'm having this whole conversation while my boyfriend is doing whatever he's doing. And I just say to myself, I'm like, I just made up a story about this kid, about what he's saying. Like, I don't know what he's thinking. He may not even notice me at all. And then I go further and I'm like, even if he did think I was ugly, I couldn't tell you who that kid is now. I could tell you partially what he looked like, but like, does it actually impact my life? No. But the reinforcing notion of saying, I'm essentially telling myself that I'm ugly, that is very damaging. So I'm going to start a challenge on trying to rewire my brain and think purely positive, and I'll let you know how it goes because I will make a vlog on it. But remember, thoughts aren't true. Thoughts are not true. You can change your thought patterns. You can change your life. I fully believe that. 8th, I think we're on 8th. Realize now isn't forever. I often feel like, oh my God, it's going to take me so long to get out of debt. It's going to take me so long to save this much money. It's going to take me so long to build up my investment accounts. But if you think about how fast time goes, and whatever situation that you're in, especially if it's challenging, it's not going to be like this forever. It will not be like this for forever. I will tell you a quick story. Before I was in marketing. I left marketing. I got into selling real estate because I'd always wanted to do that and I wanted to try it out. And it was COVID and I said, perfect time, sort of. So I got into real estate, and in real estate, depleted my savings, depleted my 401k. And although I was making money, I wasn't budgeting. So I was way overspending and I couldn't keep up. And towards the end, before I got back into marketing, I was at a really dark place, like crying multiple times a day. Anytime my boyfriend would even spark up a conversation, I would cry because I felt so stuck. Like, where do I go from here? I've been selling real estate for 2 years, almost 2 years. And like, do I have any skills? I don't think I'll find another job. I'm almost at $0 and I've drained everything and I'm a failure. And I felt so low that it was paralyzing. Like, my sisters called me one day on a Saturday, and I live on Cape Cod. They live in Rhode Island. It's about an hour and a half drive. And I was like, I'm having some dark thoughts. Ooh. I was like, I'm not doing okay. And so they like got off the phone and drove down so fast. And we took a long walk on the beach and we talked it out. But I was like, I don't know how I'll ever get out of this. Like, the mess that I put myself in. I just felt like I wanted to leave my boyfriend. I want to go live in a hole or just like not be here at all. And so going down this dark place again. But anyway, I'm saying all of this to say, like, now isn't forever. And I'm actually somewhat grateful for what I went through because I learned a lot and it pushed me to move forward. It pushed me to get into what I'm doing now, and I'm so much happier for it. And so now isn't forever, and my now isn't forever. A few years from now, I'll be looking back at this saying, wow, I can't believe I climbed out of that debt and I rebuilt my investment accounts and my savings accounts. And I think I will look back with admiration for myself and gratitude and all of that. So if you're going through something hard, just know that now is not forever. Another Alex Hormozi, choose your problem. For years and decades, I chose the problem of having stress and debt. Life is full of trade-offs. So if you want to start budgeting and start saving and stop spending, the trade-off is not spending as much, not getting life's luxuries, or, limiting yourself to eating out as often as you like. Whatever it is, you have to choose your problem, and you have to realize what trade-offs that comes with, and you have to accept them for what they are. So choose your problem. The next one, I don't even know if this is a quote, but this is just something that I realized, is that there is a price to beauty. When I first started out budgeting and saving, I sought out other people like me, but specifically women. And I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but I feel like there is a higher standard, a higher beauty standard for women. And because of that, we put more pressure on ourselves to spend more money. My boyfriend will buy a few pairs of pants every 5 years, and he gets one haircut, and that's it. Women often pay a premium for beauty, and that can look like Botox and filler and exercise classes and a gym membership and tanner and clothing and shoes and anything else you can possibly think of. There is a price to beauty. I've always put my self-worth and my value to society on how I look. And I just want to be clear, I definitely don't think I'm this beautiful thing, but I did my best to improve my outward appearance so that other people would accept me, so that then I would feel accepted by everyone else. And I hope that makes sense. And women will often spend thousands and thousands of dollars chasing society's standards of what's beautiful and our standards of what's beautiful. And that's a result of social media and influencers and all of that. And it's not to say that it's not important to present yourself in a certain way. I'll never kind of just let myself go and be like, it's fine, it's all inner beauty, because I don't believe that. But I think that we have to have boundaries about how far we're willing to go to achieve these certain beauty standards. I need to have boundaries, and I'm starting to build those now, but it took me almost 40 years to get there. So last two are both, I think one's Hormozi. One is definitely Hormozi, the other one I'm not really sure. The more ways you can measure, the more ways you can win. It's true. Whatever you measure will grow, which leads me to say that if you're not budgeting, start budgeting. Track all of your money, track all of your savings, track what's coming in, measure everything, because that what you measure will grow. The last one is definitely Hormozi. And he said, check your bank account before you check your social media first thing in the morning. And if it hurts you to check your bank account, then you need to do it even more. And I was one of those people who, up until I started budgeting, I could not look at my bank account. I would go months without looking at my bank account because the anxiety and stress and sickness that I felt, I just didn't want to know. I was like, if I don't look at it, it doesn't exist. It kind of exists, but it's not really in my head because I'm not paying attention to it. I've since reversed that, since I found a budgeting app that I like and I've started tracking my money. I do that now. When I take my phone, I go into the bathroom, my alarm goes off, I go into the bathroom, and I am tempted often to check my social media, check Instagram or something, or even check my email. But this always sticks in my mind. This has stuck with me. Check your bank accounts before you check your social media. And I will either transfer money from my checking to an investment account, or I'll just check my accounts or check my budgeting app just to see where I am. There's one more, I forgot. People become so accustomed to their behavior that they fail to notice how extreme or unique it is. And if we take my shopping habits, I did not realize how bad my habits were. I did not realize how poor my spending habits were, because for years and years and years and years, I was comparing myself to influencers online. And these influencers had drawers and drawers and beauty counters full of products, and they had these ginormous closets full of clothing. And that was my standard. That was my barometer. Like, I am not that, so I am doing okay. And I wasn't okay. That went on for decades, and I did not realize how extreme it was until I read Ramit Sethi's book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And I went through my bank account and I did a bank audit of all of my spending, breaking down my fixed costs and discretionary costs. And I realized that I was overspending. I was in the red every month because I was spending more than I make, and I was spending more on discretionary, unnecessary items. I was spending more on that than I was on my fixed costs. And this is why it was really shocking to me, and why I didn't realize how excessive I actually was, because at that point, I had already tried to cut down on my spending, and I thought I was making progress. Like, I wasn't budgeting yet, but I was still trying to be more mindful with spending and like paying more attention to prices and not buying as much. And even cutting down a lot, I was still, my cost, my percentage of discretionary spending was like 65%. It was so high. And so that really led me to realize how extreme it was. And I had become so accustomed to this over the years, and really over a decade, that I didn't realize until I had the numbers, the clear numbers, staring at me in my face. That was the top lessons I learned. These are the things that have stuck with me, that I actually wrote down. Like, when I listen to something, I'll listen to a podcast or YouTube channel, and if I hear something that like really stands out to me, I will write it down. And these are the things that just made a dent in my psyche and just kind of like ingrained themselves in my brain. So I hope you took something away from that. I will leave it here, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, thanks.